So, unbelievable. Thing is how nobody's really watching this but me. And this is for the purpose of looking back on later for myself, so I don't drink or whatever. I'm documenting this time in my life. And so basically what's happened is DSS is involved because of my little drunken and psychotic crazy episode. I'm going on 2 months sober. And as I said in my other videos, my son was taken and given to my mother, basically. And I think I like that light, but I don't. Who cares? Anyway, I had my first, I guess, like, meeting. I think I'm getting a cold. With the, like, group meeting or whatever, team meeting with, DSS and all that last week. And I called my mother to, let her know that it went well, whatever. And she did not want to hear that. She wants me to fail, I believe. She doesn't want me to remain sober. She doesn't want me to get better mentally. She wants me to remain a person with issues because it makes her feel better about herself, I guess. So I didn't know that prior to this meeting she had been talking to my soon-to-be ex-husband, and he's so self-centered and completely self-absorbed that he would be willing to sign over his parental rights, apparently, for my son to be adopted, because that would mean he would no longer be financially responsible for this baby for the next 17 years. So for him that would be a good thing, right? What a piece of shit. That's what he thinks of his son. Just money. Makes me nauseous. Anyway. And of course, my mother didn't tell me about any of this. So when I went to my meeting and I was telling her, it went well, blah, 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 she starts yelling at me and telling me that I'm never going to change and I don't deserve to have a baby. I shouldn't have a baby. I need to get my tooth tied. And like telling me what to do as if I were 15, not 41. And I was like, look, lady, you need to chill, okay? Really. I am your daughter, but I'm 41, and it's my body, and I'll decide if I want to get my tooth tied, and I'll decide if I want to have another baby. If I want to have 10 more, it's my decision. I don't, but if I did, it's none of her business. It's my body, it's my life, and I'll do what I want with it. But, of course, that's not what I want. I have a baby, and I want my baby. I want my son. And that's what I'm doing everything I can right now for that purpose. That end. getting my son home and my daughter. And, you know, so she goes and writes this freaking letter to DSS telling them that, basically. And then, you know, she had to have a stent put in her heart, whatever. And, you know, like, she's the first person this has ever happened to. You know, she's got to get a stress test done in July, like I think probably most people do that get that done. And she's just dead set that she's going to have open heart surgery and get a bypass, and she's probably going to die on the operating table, and she's going to die. You know, she could die tomorrow, she could have a stroke, she could have a heart attack, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, you know what? Considering the stress I'm going through right now, so could I. And your point is, does that mean I give up everything? No, it doesn't. And so, you know, I'm just really pissed at her right now, because she basically wrote that letter and told them that, showing her mental instability. And I was praying and hoping and praying that she would hang on just until I could get my son back. Because, you know, what's the other alternative? Foster care. So what happens? I start flipping out, thinking, oh my God, I should probably call them in case she does call and flip out, so that they are aware. So I call, I tell them I'm really concerned. They call me back, my worker, and she's like, well, we got this letter from your mother. And I'm like, really? Because I didn't know about the letter. My mother didn't tell me, obviously. Sneaky, backstabbing bitch. And yeah, I'm talking about my mother like that because that's what she is. She's my, who needs fucking enemies when they have a parent like that? Whatever. I told her, I said, you know what? You want to die apparently, so why don't you just do it? Why go get a stress test? Keep smoking. Don't go back to the doctor. Go eat some fucking bacon and die. Have a fucking heart attack and goddamn die. Excuse my language, Lord. But that's how I feel. I will be free from this woman when she's dead. Because until then, she's going to continue to try to wreak havoc in my fucking life. And I'm just sick of it. You know, she beat me up my entire childhood. You know, not constantly, but she was very physically abusive and mentally abusive and emotionally abusive. She was never there, even when she was there. She was not a present parent at all. You know, not saying that I'm like this perfect parent. I'm not. I have made lots of mistakes, and I admit that. But I'm trying to fix things, you know. I'm trying to do the right thing. I screwed up big time. Yeah, I did. Tell me someone who hasn't. I mean, you know, nobody's perfect. So whatever. That's what's going on right now. And just really pisses me off, because now DSS is like, well, you know, our whole thing is for family reunification, and the whole family thing, you know, the child is with this grandmother or a family member is for that. And if the family member is not thinking that, and they're not on board with that, then that's not a good place for the child to be. So they want to bring him up here where I am and put him in foster care. Which means I don't have custody of him anymore, the state does. And a judge gets to tell me when I get to have my son back. You know, which I don't have a problem with that, because I'm doing what they asked me to do. I'm doing what I know I need to do, regardless. When they're in my life, when they're not in my life, because I need to remain sober. I need to go to my meetings. I need to be a part of recovery and AA, and I need this. I know this. But this is something that I have to do for my life. And, you know, maintaining my mental health. These are all things I need to do for the rest of my life to be somewhat decent. And I understand this. But I can't get my mother to see that. And I don't really feel I have to prove anything to her, because I'm grown. And I'm tired of trying to prove things to her, because it doesn't matter what I do, it's never going to be good enough. So I'm just tired of it. I don't know what's going to happen. I'll find out on Monday. But that's what's going on right now, and that's why I was so kind of short in the last video. And I'll just keep you up to date. Pray for me. and my sons, my daughter, and my mother if you want. I don't think she wants at least prayers. She claims to be Buddhist, but she's not acting like one. She's making a whole lot of bad karma between her and me. Before she goes, I'm going to have to deal with her in my next life. I don't want to have to deal with her anymore. Ugh. I wish she would just leave me alone. Whatever.